Okay, I think we are live. Welcome. I'm so happy to have you, Sheri. Thank you so much for coming on. Here, you know me, I'm Coach Narit, the creator and owner of Fit with Narit and the creator of the Midlife Makeover Program. And before we start, Sheri, for every comment, for every heart, for every fire emoji, whatever, we get here go we get $1 for Sheri to go spend at Target. So we want to earn her a
Right.
ton of money for all her hard work. Okay. So I just want to remind you guys, for every comment, she gets $1. So, Sheri, tell us who you are, where you're from, what you do. Tell us all of that.
So I'm Sheri Keller. I've lived in Howard County for almost 40 years now. And I retired as a Howard County special educator in 2021 after 31 years of teaching full time in Howard County. And I still substitute. Thank you. You were a teacher too. You know what it's like. So I still substituted today. And I live part-time in Florida, where my husband and I run and own 10 UPS stores down in Florida. So I go back and forth to Florida, and my younger daughter lives in Florida and teaches, and my older daughter lives up here where she just finished grad school.
Yep, you have a lot going on. You're
I,
retired.
yeah, yeah. And help take care of my mom. So yeah.
So you're so inspirational. You have so much going for you, and you know your before and after pictures were, I mean, the abs were huge. But I want you to tell us what was going on with your health, with your life prior to starting the midlife makeover program.
So, about a year and a half ago, I had a full hysterectomy after having lots of problems, being 54 years old and still inconsistently getting a period that was horrible. But my blood test showed that I was in full menopause and shouldn't be getting a period. So I was in terrible pain, sick, nauseous, couldn't get out of bed sometimes, and didn't know why. So decided to have a full hysterectomy to try and mitigate what was going on. But even before that, like in perimenopause, I guess, I started gaining weight, which was unusual for me. Like, if anything, I grew up underweight. I had some eating issues. I was underweight, had trouble gaining weight even when I wanted to, but was gaining weight and couldn't figure out why. My doctor was just like, well, it's menopause. That's just what happens. Deal with it essentially. Oh, eat less carbs and work out more. And I'm like, okay, there's only so much I could work out because I was already working out. I worked out in a group. I also run. But I was gaining weight. And, I just didn't know what to do. So I had the full hysterectomy hoping that that would help. But literally within a month after having the hysterectomy, I gained like 6 pounds. I was like, what the hell? Like, I just couldn't figure out what was going on. So I had tried all kinds of things, Weight Watchers, which, my mom had always done. I, tried lowering my carbs. But I couldn't even like really work out more than I was because I was working out a lot, but I didn't realize I was necessarily not working out the right way. And I don't even know how I found you. You showed up on something on my feed one day. I'm not even sure what happened, and saw something about you and thought, I need to try something else. Like, what I was doing was not working. So, and I was frustrated because doctors were telling me, don't worry about it. This is just what happens. And I was like, no, I'm sorry, I'm not buying this. So I wanted to try something else.
And it's very interesting. You mentioned that about doctors. So my sister's doctors. We do have a lot of doctors as clients and nurses as clients, and they are they don't do preventative, right? They
Mm-hmm.
diagnose and so they're after. So they don't actually take nutrition. So I think that's really important to share. What would you say? You said you tried, and I remember I'm reading like your intake form, and you were like, I want to look like I work out. And if we
Yeah.
look at your photos, um, you look amazing. I can't stop
Thank you.
looking. So what do you personally feel are your biggest wins since you've started the program?
So I think my biggest wins are that I'm working out correctly. Like, I still do some of my group workouts because I enjoy them, but the ones that you and Sarah give me are made for me. They are for me. And so rather than it being for a whole group and everybody's different, these were obviously made for me, and they worked. And I think, the biggest issue is, yes, I was doing group workouts, and I was also, especially like in my late 40s and early 50s, was doing a lot of cardio, but I wasn't doing strength training. Like maybe once a week I was doing strength training, but everything was cardio, which at that time was working. It was okay. And I was really into running at that time, but I wasn't doing strength training because I wasn't getting to the gym. I really didn't even know what to do. I was teaching full time, had kids, just wasn't. So it was easier for me to do a couple of group things and run. But the biggest win I have is just finding workouts that worked for me, that I could do on my time, and they were made for me. They weren't just like you're giving out the same workout for everybody. They're made for me. And I see, like you had kind of pointed out, I mean, I have seen the difference, but when you showed me the pictures like 2 weeks ago, I was like, holy crap, like there was a major difference. There was a major difference.
Yeah, and I love that you pointed that out because first of all, yeah, in this whole section was huge.
Yeah.
That was a huge transformation, but also it's kind of like the difference. I'm always like working out and
Mhm.
specific training. When you're specifically training, it's to look a certain way, right?
Right.
Um, I would love to know, like, before you started on our journey, on this journey, right?
Mhm.
Did you have any like concerns or doubts? Like, what kind of crept in? Because you had tried so many different things, right? So,
Right. Right. I mean, I had concerns that it wasn't going to work. That I was still going to be not feeling good about myself, not having energy, feeling frustrated that I was working out, but like getting nowhere. Like, what's the point of working out if you're not getting anywhere? You don't feel like you're making any progress. You don't feel like doing it. So yeah, I mean, especially you're paying a lot of money,
mhm.
and you got to put in the investment, but it's just like, is it going to work? And I kind of doubted things just because my doctor was telling me like, well, you're doing all you can do. This is the best you're going to look. Like, there's nothing else you can do. Just buy bigger clothes. And I was like, well, that's not what I want to do either. So I was frustrated that, the doctors weren't really behind me, except telling me, well, just cut your carbs, you know?
So
So yeah.
I would love to know a couple things with that. So one, how did this experience kind of help you overcome your original fears? And then I want to talk about cutting carbs.
Hmm.
And if we ask you to cut your carbs or anything like that, because it's
Right.
ridiculous information, first of all.
Yeah, well, I've definitely learned that it's ridiculous information, and there's a way of eating carbs that obviously are healthy for you, but also things that you like. Like, you love bread. I know you love bread, and
I
I do.
get it every meal.
But I've learned like to buy different bread that tastes the same, the 647. Like, I love that bread. It's great bread. So, and that's what I've always looked for my whole life, is like, what's the least amount of calories or the most bang for my buck that I can get for something, but it still tastes good. I don't want to eat cardboard. You know,
Yes.
I want it to taste good, but I want the biggest bang for my buck. And I think the biggest thing that I didn't know was how much protein I needed to eat. Like, I just had no idea like that protein was what was going to kind of bulk me up, like make me look like I worked out. I did not know that. So that's what I learned the most, is I needed to change the way I was eating. Um, that I kind of had gotten in a, sort of maybe like a sort of even like a depression, just eating whatever I felt like, because what difference did it make? I was gaining weight anyway. So it didn't matter what I was eating. I just seem to gain weight. So this gives me, I'm so much better about what I eat and getting my biggest bang for my buck, and looking at myself and my clothes and things like that and the way I feel, it's worked. So that makes me really happy.
I love when you say biggest bang for your buck because I eat a lot of food. My goal is to eat a lot of food and not,
Mm.
be restrictive, not say no to carbs. I eat chocolate every day. That's like a big thing. And I was reading kind of like where we started with you, and you talked a lot about your past relationship with food. I would love to hear like how that has changed for you and for maybe your family. Like how
Yeah.
has that shifted?
So, I mean, I grew up in a family, I mean, it was an all Jewish family. There was always food around. There was a lot of food, lots of choices. Both my parents were obese growing up, but my mom was always on a diet. It was like she was always on Weight Watchers. My grandmother was too. She would lose weight, gain weight, lose weight, gain weight. And I think part of me, I was terrified of like being obese, like my parents, and having this yo-yo. So I I hated food. I did not want to eat and went through a period, especially in college, where I had lost an immense amount of weight. I mean, when I look back now, my husband and I were talking about it last night. When I got married, I'm 5'6", same as I was when I got married, but I weighed 105 pounds. And I look at myself and I'm like, how did I weigh that? Like, I don't even know how I was alive weighing 105 pounds when I got married. Like, I just don't even know. But but I still, my grandmother told me I was fat, and that I needed to lose weight before I got married. So I was always told one thing, that I was not thin enough. I wasn't, thin enough, and that I was going to get fat like my parents. And so that was it was terrifying for me.
Mhm.
So I had to struggle to learn to eat. And then I kind of went on the opposite end, where I was eating things I shouldn't, like too much of sugar and things like that I shouldn't be eating. So, and it was hard, having kids, because I didn't want them to like grow up with that horrible feeling. But I ended up with one kid who had a lot of medical issues, tons of medical issues, lots of surgeries. And because of that, she gained a lot of weight, and was really on the borderline of obesity. And she's now lost 57 pounds. We've kind of done stuff together. She's working with a nurse practitioner. She's exercising more, but she has a lot of medical issues. She has POTS, she has fibromyalgia, she has EDS, she has scoliosis. Like, there's just a lot of things going on. So she's working really well with a nurse practitioner and is finally getting some weight off. And I feel like I'm being a good role model because I'm working with you. So like, it shows that she's not the only one that has an issue, that we all have our issues and we all need somebody to help with those issues. And that's okay. So she sees me log my food. She's logging her food. Like, we're doing this together. So I think, that really helps. Yeah.
I love that because we're talking about like fueling. And I would love for you to share. Do we ever tell you like you can't eat this or you should feel guilty about eating that? Or are there any foods that are
No.
off limits?
No, you've never told me that. And if anything, like, I've struggled more with like, and I'll tell Sarah, because I talk more with Sarah, is like, I want to have pizza, but I'm not sure how to put it in, like, and it's okay. Like, actually, I had pizza last night. Went out with my niece to dinner at University of Delaware, and I decided to get flatbread pizza. I was like, this is what I feel like having, and that's what I had. And you can put it in. You can make sure I did not go over my calorie count yesterday. And I just make sure I get my protein in and try and add things to, whatever I'm eating. And obviously it's worked out well for me, because I definitely see a difference in how I look and how I feel. And also just how I approach like grocery shopping, the meals that I cook, or, it's a little different because my husband, it's generally just the two of us. And we travel a lot. So whether we're going to Florida back and forth or traveling other places, so I do eat out a lot, but I
And you can.
really, yeah, but I can do it. And I lost 15 pounds. So in the first 12 weeks. And now I'm like, I've been at maintenance for months. And I'm not, before I would have been looking to lose more weight. Like, oh my gosh, I need to lose more weight, but I'm not there. I'm like, I'm okay with my weight. Now I just want to, look like I'm working out and like I'm healthy. And that's where I'm getting.
And I love that you talked about pizza because you should be eating pizza. You should, if you are, doing something, it should include pizza or wine, whatever that you love,
Whatever.
that
Right.
you're navigating that. What was your favorite, like, or what is, I guess, your favorite part of the program?
My favorite part is the community. Like, I love listening. I can't always catch your stuff like when you're doing it live if I'm working or whatever, but I always watch the replays. And I love like tonight going on, for your 7:30 call. And I look forward to those. I really do. I look forward to the community. I look forward to like looking what's on Facebook and what people say, even if I don't say anything. Um, to me, it makes you show like I'm not by myself. Other people are going through this, whether they're on maintenance or whether they're losing weight or wherever they are. Um, and I love that part. I love that community.
I really think we have the best community ever. They are so supportive. They help hold us accountable. They make us
Hmm.
better. We are all like leaders and inspired. I mean, you are the average of the five people you spend the most time with. I always, always say that.
Yeah.
So what do you feel like changed the most from like a mindset perspective for you?
Well, just like what you said, like there's no bad food. Like to me that was always, I always felt guilty. I mean, I ate like cookies and stuff, but then I would feel awful. I always, even like in the middle of eating a cookie, I would feel guilty. I just, or going out to dinner and eating something I felt like I shouldn't eat. I felt guilty. It was hard. It just the whole feeling. Sometimes I couldn't even sleep because, oh my God, what did I eat for dinner? Or what did I have for dessert? Like I shouldn't have eaten that. And I would totally kill myself over that. And now I'm not saying I never do it. There are times where I, am not quite out of my headspace, but I would say I'm like at least 75, 80% out of that headspace where I'm like, it's okay. Sure. It's all right that you ate that and you're doing okay. And I haven't gained any weight in months.
Yeah. And I love how you were saying, you like know how to eat. We want you to eat cookies. That's so
Right.
important.
Right.
Um, so Sheri, what would you say to someone? We have people who've been following us for a couple of days and people who've
Mm.
been following us for a couple of weeks, months, even years, and they're thinking about, thinking about maybe joining our program, but they haven't pulled the trigger yet. What would you say to someone like that?
I would say do it. I mean, just find a way to do it. And I know financially it can be hard, but it in the some ways I feel like it saved me money though too, because I'm doing better like with my grocery shopping, choosing other, things that are healthier for me. So therefore I'm saving money. Like really, I'm eating, more healthy, but I'm also able to eat things that I want to eat. Like it's okay. But I would say like pull the plug and just do it because you're going to feel so much better. And you really, it's not just like a one-on-one with like you or Sarah. It is a whole community. And I think that's what I think, especially now, like after COVID and everything, people needed to talk to other people. And I say, like, you're kind of like my therapist in a lot of ways too. Like, it's just, you can just talk things over that are, health related. Cause everything, honestly, everything is health related. Everything in your brain is health related. And it affects your health, like you say, like stress. I mean, I always love when a doctor says to me, "Are you under stress?" I'm like, "Does anybody ever tell you no?" Because I want to know the person that says, "No, I'm not under any stress." Like it's like a dumb question. Like everybody's under stress.
Exactly. And
So
yeah,
yeah,
and
like
we
I never understand that question.
I feel like with doctors a lot, they're very, very busy. Not that we're not, but they kind of don't deal with like the how part. They're just like,
Right,
okay, overweight, this is happening, but they don't kind of give you they don't always give you the tools
right.
um, to kind of like solve the stuff. So yeah,
No.
that's super, super
And
helpful.
and I think most people can't solve it on their own. They really can't. And so they need a group, they need professionals, they need a group to help solve it because I mean, if you could solve it on your own, you probably wouldn't have been overweight to begin with. Like that's what I say with my daughter. Yeah, it started with a lot of health issues, but in the end, it was really it was in her mindset, you know, and with me too, like just changing that mindset of it's hormonal. I mean, my whole body changed. I took out a bunch of organs out of my body. Um, it
Yeah.
was a major surgery that I had. And it was also all precancerous. So I was glad I had it done because God only knows what I'd be dealing with now.
I think that's a really important point you bring on because we're not just a fitness company, we are also a health care company
Mm-hmm.
because health is related in everything we do. That mental health part, like when you get up in the morning, and you are, you feel that shame and that guilt over your food or how your clothes are fitting, or you don't want to go places because you're embarrassed of how you look, or you're worried about being around for your kids. It takes up so much time and space
Mm-hmm.
in your head, whether it's physical, emotional, or mental. So we talk about all of that. So Sheri, thank you so much for coming on here and talking about this. Now is actually a very, very good time to sign up. If you feel like you are Sheri, or whatever Sheri said has really resonated with you, please, please, please leave a comment, because for every comment that you make, she will get $1 towards Target. If you are ready to lose 15 plus pounds before summer, eating the foods that you love, with 3 home workouts specifically targeted for you with a customized plan, you can send me a message. When you are communicating with me, you're just asking me a question. You are not committing. So you can communicate with me, Sheri, and I will know that you are just asking for just some information. So don't forget to comment on Sheri's amazing live. Sheri, thank you so much for
Sure.
sharing and being vulnerable. We really, really appreciate you, and we'll see you tonight on
All
Love.
right.
Bye,
I'll be
Sheri.
there. Bye.